Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a discussion over Kinghill.
Yep.
This was a game that, at this point I don't even remember why I backed it. Like, it was back when there was back in everything.
Worker placement or one-on-one?
Exactly,
yeah.
And...
Because we like worker placement games.
We like worker placement, and I really do enjoy 1v1 when there's a lot of, like, back and forth, head-to-head, outthinking your opponent. Kind of stuff, but like skirmish games, for me anyway, 1v1s are very tricky for me to actually enjoy.
Right.
Because either it can come off as way too random or stuff like that. It's like, well, you didn't beat me, dice beat me.
Or too slow,
yeah.
or too fast, or
exactly.
It's hard to get a good balance.
So I had kind of freehand trying to play this game, and I was like, okay, you know what, there might be some merit here, because this has been sitting on my shelf for quite some time since I got it. I know at one point we attempted to play it, and I pulled it out, and I was like, I don't think so. I don't want to play this. But we finally got it done, and it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Of a game. I think, obviously it was cheap to buy, so it's a low price point. For what you get out of it, there's a lot of variety in terms of buildings, units to buy, and the fact that it is a worker placement battler. Battler's the wrong word, but you essentially are trying to defeat your opponent's castle, and that sounds interesting. But then you realize, why isn't that more common?
Right.
Because it doesn't work.
Right. And it's... So again, in skirmish games, and especially one-on-ones, you can play games where someone does an attack and then someone plays a combo for defense, and so you do 1 point of damage in totality. So then you're going back and forth, and it takes fucking forever.
Yeah.
Or you do some damage, and the other person then heals half that damage, and the other person's just blowing out damage, but the other person's all built on this healing effect, and so... Who cares?
Yeah, we had that when we did Hero Realms.
Right.
Where it was like, I had all the damage, but it would be like, okay, 80 damage, and you're like, okay, I healed for 85. It's like...
Right. And so that's where
I love Hero Realms, by the way. But in that instance, it was like...
But that's where I find that skirmish games are so hit or miss for me is... You mean
1v1?
1v1. Okay. 1v1 games where I feel like it's just... at the right pacing. We really are outthinking your opponent. In this one, it combined two very interesting worker placement with skirmishing in a 1v1.
Yeah.
Those three things, I've never thought that... what's the chart where you put the bubbles and they touch
Venn diagram?
The Venn diagrams. Yeah. Where those three should ever... intersect on a Venn diagram.
Because I will say, I think there's something here, because but it feels like there needed to be refinement, because he wanted it to be maybe he didn't want it to be tactile, maybe he wanted it to just be kind of just balls to the wall, because you can get a shit ton of spells, you can get a shit ton of resources, you can have your army, you have the force stuff, the randomized events that you can't really do anything about.
Right.
The randomized... because there's more action tiles in there, so... Yeah. In terms of replayability, they got it here.
So actually, that's probably one of my problems at this point with it, is a little too much replayability.
Yeah, I think it's kind of... it's a little much.
On this table is large, but the cards are so different from each other, because there are so much variety... I don't know what the cards do.
Yeah.
Literally, I kind of glance oh, does it have this symbol? Nope. Okay, I'm just not going to care. I don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah, and I don't think that's inherently a problem with this game. That's almost any card game. There's a market that's someone's not going to be able to see shit.
Right.
We've played multiple games where Brett's just kind of I forgot all about those because they're over there. It's kind of one of those games. But, I like the fact that you can build differently.
Right.
You get different builds, that's cool. But I almost would have rather just I'd rather have one or the other. Mm-hmm. Because if one person gets an engine going, then normally that's oh, cool, you got an engine going. that's how he's going to win through victory points. But in this game, it's like, oh, I got my engine going quicker than you did. Now I'm going to start just outright dealing damage.
Right.
Because I got extra workers quicker than you,
yep.
which then allows me to get more resources than you, which then allows me to go to one of the action tiles, pay 6 of my 80 stone to just flat out do 3 damage to you.
Right.
And, I mean, you can snowball that into a bunch of stuff. You can do that, then you could do actions that let you take their resources. So then,
right.
I mean, there's a high chance that this, let me just double check, that this could have been our cards.
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to take all your resources, so I'm just going to do 1 attack, and you have no stone left, so you're going to take 6 damage at the end. And it's like, okay.
Right.
Like, all right, let's just pack it up.
And that was the thing, like, because I went all spells, and over half mine were destroy 2 of your resources.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can do that, but these other effects are probably slightly more to my advantage in what I'm actually trying to accomplish. That I was like, I don't know that destroying your resources was going to be the best use of my
right, especially when I can just go explore and kind of generate them all back. And I had spells too in terms of like, but I honestly, I saw one and it was like, oh, deal 3 damage to units, yada yada,
right.
or +2 castle endurance, and I was like, that's just annoying.
Right.
That's just cheap to do.
So I'll put another complaint. I do not like the fact that your cards are already split with the cost, but inside of that cost is another split. So you have 4 options on every single card. It's too many options. That's not the point of cards. I like 2 options.
Yeah.
And I like one that is better for more expense.
Yeah.
So now I have a choice, and I always know I have one that's cheaper and one that's not. Because otherwise, realistically, what you gave me is every time I draw a card, I have always 2 cards in my hand.
Yeah.
Basically, with one choice.
And again, it just feels like it needs to be reined in.
Yeah.
Like, more is not always best.
Right.
Because at first I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a game that like accelerates really quickly because you start out with 2 workers and then you can easily get more. I like the fact that you diversify them.
Yep.
Very simple to go and just get it. Oh, I want to go this route. I want to get an assassin. Right. And that the mining locations thematically make sense. You don't go there; they produce more resources. So you go and it's like, oh man, there's like 5 extra stone there. I'm just gonna go and get 8 stone.
Right.
But then there comes kind of a point where it does kind of come to a halt. Eventually, you have to attack your opponent.
Right, which is what I did.
Yeah, it was like if it wasn't going to be you, it was like whenever
it was going to be you.
Yeah, you took the damage from the earthquake.
Yep.
And then
I knew the minute I took that damage, it was game on.
Yeah, I was like, oh, because you started with less than I did by 1. But I was like, okay, I get an extra attack. I'm going to go get more soldiers. Because there was one, the Enforcer I was going to pick up. She gives you an extra strength for each soldier that you control. I was going to get her, do the same catapult thing. Or not catapult, do the whatever
damage,
that is. Yeah, just flat 3 damage, and then I was gonna attack.
Yeah, and I knew that. Like it wasn't, and that's part of my problem. Is like we do this build, so it's turn 6, right? So there's 9 turns in the game. Nothing happens combat wise. Turn 6, and it's done.
Yeah, which some people might like. I almost would have preferred if there was actually like a hard set attack phase.
Yes.
If not like every round, like there's 9 rounds at the end of the 3rd, 6th, and 9th round. There's a battle, so you actually don't have to worry. But like, are they like you can actually build up an army,
right?
Especially in this fantasy kind of setting, it's not like a surprise army just shows up,
right?
Like you'd be like, oh, I fucking see them. They're about to siege my castle. All right, like you can plan, but without in a 1v1 game that's supposed to be head to head. Like, what is he gonna do? Okay, I know. Like, if you were able to be like, I know the battle's coming up. It's about to be the end of the 3rd phase.
Right.
I need more. Buildings, or I need more units.
And also things like, okay, don't just have spells that heal your castle. Have somewhere out here. So if you're not going for spells, like you're not building mages to go collect spells, I can send a builder or the miner.
Yeah.
And his, the plus ability is increase your castle health by 1.
Yeah.
Now you have encouraged someone saying, I don't want mages, I don't want to touch magic.
Yeah.
I want to do this whole other cool thing. But I still can start slowly healing. Maybe it's not, but again, you're not using magic that often. There's not that many ways of getting it.
Yeah.
Here's one spot that I can just slowly heal up and build and defend.
You mitigate it somewhat, but imagine if we're going into round 9 and I've hoarded a bunch of gems and spell cards, and it's like, okay, well, you're not going to be able to attack me. It's my turn. I'm going to play these spells and heal all the way back up.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Wow, I'm glad we wasted an hour, like, just for you to sandbag, like, healing. Yeah, I really don't enjoy stuff like that. If you're gonna, I mean, the fact that they actually don't have a healer unit, that would have been much better. Like you said, have a location that you can send a healer to, maybe heal your units.
Right.
Maybe heal your castle wall. Or, I mean, I'm sure it's in here, or a specific building.
Right. I mean, I do like, living wall right there, basically I think it adds to your castle's overall health.
Oh, yeah.
And regenerates once per turn.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. So as long as I can keep my defense high, you have to really start hammering to get that thing gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there are 2 different decks of buildings that the beginner cards do get cycled out at the end of the 5th round. Right. I mean, honestly, the best part about this game, I think, is the worker placement stuff.
Oh, yeah. But that's because it's worker placement, and worker placement's the best anyway.
Yeah.
It's the best mechanic out there.
I don't know about that.
To me, worker placement's probably my favorite mechanic out there.
I certainly love... Like, yeah... Probably.
I mean,
it's so much. But they're usually hand in hand. Worker placement just kind of goes with everything.
Right. So I mean, you have the engine building where it's like that card base where you keep building up.
Because I was thinking oh, Everdell, because I love Tableau building, but that is also worker placement. Yeah.
Yep.
So like I said, there's something here. Like if someone were to tell me they like this game, I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
I just think that the actual castle attack portion it just doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
Especially when it can come down to you got certain cards. Not real. I mean, it is kind of a card game, so I can't really put in too much stock. But it's like, imagine if I got the living wall on top of my innate defense, and then I had. And it's like, okay, well, you actually can't beat me.
Right.
And then you just flood with spells like Plague. Okay, I'm just going to start dealing 3 damage to your units that you can't stop.
Right.
And then I'm going to go with my Assassin, because my other plan was to get this House of the Dagger, which upgrades that. So it's like now, if they have 2 health left, I can send my Assassin there to just start killing your units. It's like, okay, you can't attack me, and now you're never going to have units, because the spells are just going to chip damage them.
Right.
And then they're gone.
Right.
So I think what it kind of comes down to is we don't really seem to like the spells. I think the spells kind of are my biggest complaint, because they add in a sandbag of healing, which is dumb. There's no counter spells. I don't really like 1v1. Like I do. That's why I don't like Keyforge. Keyforge is I do everything and watch you undo everything that I just did, and we're to repeat until we kill ourselves because we don't want to play anymore. I don't necessarily mind these.
Nope.
Because 2 of them are gonna come out.
Right.
And it's an even split of bad and good.
Because we had one that was great.
Yeah.
And one that in the early one was kind of bad, but again, because it's 1v1, there's so many spots that you can go mitigate that. You're really just paying workers.
I mean, now if this came out,
sure, there's a little bit of difference if like you could hit really bad.
It's like, why do we build here?
Right.
But and then the force tiles that come out are actually player dependent. Right. We chose to mess with force energy, which will potentially bring some out, because every time they're drawn, like they're face down. But then if it's filled up, then it gets revealed.
Right.
I actually don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't mind the unique action tiles.
And not knowing what's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's because they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
So it come for me. I don't like the spell cards, and I'd much rather in the 1v1 worker placement game there be an attack phase.
I agree. I mean, so the spell cards I think just need to be reworked on their own. I think they're a mixture of just too powerful, but at the same, like, if you don't go mages, you're not going to get spells cards. But if somebody does go heavily into mages, which again, it's not bad to go into mages, because again, like we saw at least 2 sacred pools, so you can just start getting magic crystals kind of out your butt.
Yeah,
and then it's not that big of a deal anymore.
And this is gonna be kind of weird. So I also don't think that the units are all created equal in terms of how much they cost.
Right.
Like, of course, units need to be more powerful than other units. Like Xanar the Mighty is a 6/6, but it's 5 gold and 3 magic to hire. That's nothing in this game. In one action, potentially with my Explore, I drew 4 cards, and it's like 1, 2, 3. Oh, look, there's the 5 gold immediately.
And the mage, after turn 2, is 3 magic.
Yeah. So you can get him, and now he costs the magic to attack, but it's only 1 magic.
So that's what I thought with this guy, because that's where, so it's 5 magic and 2 force that you pay. But basically, if you can get him, because I think I had him on this turn, I think so, yeah, because I got 2 more, he pumps out any level 1 or a 1 health creature from the discard, and they just pop out. Now, none of their abilities that as they pop come out, but like, this one was a 3/1, and I could, again, pay magic to resurrect him every time.
Exactly.
It's like, I've been literally playing a magic game.
Yeah.
It's the perfect creature for me.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why it's like, again, there seems to be too much put in, because in this game, the defender basically just has to sit here.
That's what
and watch you
me.
just shit your pants and be like,
and maybe that's what throws me, because like I didn't even hit your Griffin because it didn't make sense for me to attack your Griffin.
Yeah.
But you as the defender, why can't you use it to defend against?
What it should be is kind of like Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
If you're having stuff like that where that's like a magic combo.
Right
there, where you have a unit, a really powerful unit that prevents mobs or from dying. Cool. In this game, there shouldn't be 2 phases, because there's a weird castle, or no, the castle phase makes sense.
Right.
It's the additional unit phase that's kind of dumb. What it should be is you're attacking me.
Right.
I choose who to defend.
Right.
Because like in Magic, I'm attacking you.
Right.
You use your people to block you.
And then what would make sense is, instead of even doing the castle phase, so whatever damage I do on top or that goes through, you can never damage my castle on my attack.
Yeah.
But any damage that goes through to yours, you take any castle damage.
Oh, like trample.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so basically, whatever's left over, because again, if you don't kill my guys, then that's what
they got through my units to attack my castle, yeah.
You have to make a choice then. Do I sacrifice everything for defense right now, or do I take some castle damage and try to live for another day to do the attack against him next time?
Yeah, because my Wild Griffin, it's like he has a regenerate too, so it's like, okay, I could be like, ooh, okay, you're attacking with a 3 over. I'm going to use him to defend your whatever that's called.
Right.
Because it's going to hit him for 4 at the end of the round. He's going to heal 2.
Right.
But there's none of that. Yeah, I just go, okay.
Because again, why would I ever attack your Griffin unless I'm going to just kill it outright?
Yeah. It's like, all right, you dealt 5 damage to my castle. Oh, time to also add insult to injury and kill all my units.
Right.
It's like, cool. I'm glad they existed.
Right. And that was my thing. That's what throws me a little bit with this game.
Yeah, it's. I do think that this game, could warrant a second edition or a second reprint. Fine tune it, fix your damn rulebook, because that is atrocious. Basically, it's legible. You can read through it, but then if anyone has any questions, you don't know.
Right.
It's just I don't know. Is there a hand limit on spells? I don't know.
Right.
So what's so if I use the ability to do that, can I do this? I don't know.
Right.
Because it's just not in here. This is an all over the place rulebook. That is just because it's Kickstarter and people don't ever want to actually put in the time.
I mean, you have to pay people who write, I call it more technical documents for your rules, and that's where I think board games need to go back to. So Kickstarter has lots of great things about it. One of the things Kickstarter needs to now, as a community, we need to push past is, okay, you can kickstart everything that you like. Hire someone whose job it is to exclusively review and write rule books.
Yeah, well, a lot of companies do. Paul Grogan was
Right.
hired to write rule books. I'm sure there are others. I just know
There
for a
are
fact he
others.
is. But, I mean, innately, that is a blessing and a curse of board gaming, is that if they don't, then your game is unplayable.
Right.
Therefore, no one is buying your game or playing your game. So, and, I mean, the board game community is generally extremely positive, but there are a lot of people who throw a fit about Kickstarter stuff, so it's like, word spreads. Like,
Yeah.
if he comes out for another game or a second edition, I'm guaranteed people are going to be like, "Is there, how you working on that rule book?"
Right.
But I think, honestly, there is something here. It's like, worker placement stuff is fine. Get rid of some stuff. Fine-tune other stuff. The battle, which is what you toted as a 1v1 game, make the battle actually back and forth, interactive,
Right.
some decisions, so one person who attacks first isn't going to basically win the game.
Right.
And you're kind of onto something. This game, I mean, I'd say it's innovative. I don't know a single worker placement 1v1 battle game than this one.
No.
So, because I even like the caravans that come in just extra, hey,
Yeah.
what are you offering me? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got for Kinghill. I don't think the heroes were much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, mine did one time thing.
Yeah, I mean, I even got them upgraded and it didn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. There's also one in here that would have been really upset because there's Time of Heroes. Your hero abilities are upgraded. I would have been really annoyed if I got the Ancestral Tomb and then that pops out.
Right.
It's like, oh, all right, time to replace it.
Right.
Yeah. You got anything else?
No.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Kinghill?
6.
That's where I'm at too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it is slightly
above average.
Slightly above average.
It's innovative to a certain. I mean, again, like we said,
I don't really want to play it again. But I would if they went on Kickstarter again with a second edition, I would check it out. Like I would be like, did he take feedback?
Yeah.
Like to see if there were any changes, because like I said, this game there's something here. It's just it reeks of Kickstarter. It reeks
Yeah.
of first time designer trying something. Because in terms of art, not bad. I actually really like the board.
Yeah.
There
I
is
like
some
the
weird
cards.
stuff on the board. In terms of, I mean, they actually put text. He didn't try to make it language independent,
Right.
which sometimes can be really funky. But there's some weird stuff, like on the actual print, it shows the icon of where you get an extra peasant, but because you cover it up,
Right, you'll
there's-
never see it.
You'll never see it. So these things, I guess, just show where the units go. One other thing that is kind of odd, and I don't really like it, I don't like that 2 cards get cycled in a row of 5. Basically, for a lot of cards that could be detrimental to a build, it's like you have 1 turn to do it, and because
Right.
you start with so little workers, it's like, well, I'm never getting that.
Yeah, because it already takes a worker to build this building,
Mm-hmm.
and so round 1, you're never building something.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I hired someone because I went there and then happened to get an explorer.
Right.
But yeah, I would get rid of the 2. It either increase the market to 6 cards, or keep it at 5 and just have the last card, which you could theoretically just house rule.
Right.
So yeah, there's some stuff here. Peter Merrick, just if you go do a second edition, fine tune the hell out of this game, and you might have a really unique, innovative game that could spark something like Lost Ruins of Arnak or Dune Imperium with worker placement deck building.
Right.
I'm not saying a worker placement 1v1 game can't work.
Nope.
It theoretically makes sense. You use workers to build up your castle to fight another army.
Yeah.
Got it. Make the combat more like Magic the Gathering, which to me is the best kind of 1v1 card game.
Right. That's why it's been around for a while.
For 30 years. 93.
Only in 30 years. Interesting. Yeah.
Only?
It feels like
in
it's been
terms of
around
in
for a
terms of
long
those
time.
games though, like that's
Yeah.
I'm amazed because it came out in 93, which is when I was born.
Got it.
So, yeah, 6 out of 10s from us. That's our thoughts on Kinghill. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.